Now that President Trump says he's going to keep pushing these tariffs through no matter what.
Well, I don't care how you look at it today. It's a big win for me and a big loss for this president. That's why he was screaming to the top of his lungs at this press conference. He lost in a big way today. And this is the first step in the right direction. This is the first real hard no that this president has heard from the Supreme Court since he became elected. 6-3 is a pretty sweeping, victory. I don't care how you look at it. And now we want to turn to Congress to see how we can get compensated for lost revenue from all of the hardship that these tariffs have cost us.
The Supreme Court just handed Donald Trump the biggest legal loss of his presidency. In a 6-3 ruling, the court struck down Trump's tariffs, declaring them illegal. 6-3. That's not even close. And Trump's reaction? He calls his Supreme Court justices lapdogs, fools, and rhinos.
We lost $54 billion, and the president is proposing $12 billion. I mean, people, you can do the math there. What the Supreme Court didn't do is lie out how farmers like myself are going to recoup our losses based on the damage from the president's tariffs. But I don't care how you look at it today, this president lost and John Boyd won today, because I've been on your show saying that these tariffs are illegal. And the court agreed with me today.
The president of the United States just called the highest court in the land of fools because they told him he can't do whatever he wants. This is the first real hard no that Trump has gotten from any branch of government since he took the office.
$80,000 seed and fertilizer bill that I came up short with. I barely made my fall note that I was talking to you about last time. I really scrambled to get that payment in. Man, this president has put farmers in real hardship. And he didn't say a word today. Generally, he'd be talking about how good he loved farmers and he was going to help them and all this stuff. He didn't say nothing about farmers and how this is going to affect us moving forward.
3 of those 9 justices were appointed by Trump himself, and they still ruled against him 6-3. That's how illegal these tariffs were. Even his own judges said no.
High input costs, farm suicides, all of these things happened since this president announced tariffs on China, Canada, and Mexico. And Canada is our best friend. I don't know what we're fighting with them for in imposing these awful tariffs on someone who's been a loyal partner to the United States.
And nobody is reacting to this ruling better than John Boyd Jr. If you don't know that name, you should. He's a soybean farmer from Virginia and the founder and the president of the National Black Farmers Association. He's been going on national television for months saying these tariffs are illegal.
2 banks told me as long as those tariffs was in play that they would not be able to extend credit. I haven't been able to reach out to them since this ruling came out this morning, but I'm certainly going to be circling back, and hopefully that now bankers will look at the condition of America's farmers and begin to work with them. But more so Congress needs to put an act of Congress in place to redistribute farmers' losses. And that needs to happen through an act of Congress. And it needs to happen swiftly, and send a message to this president that Congress doesn't agree with the condition.
And today, the Supreme Court proved him right. He went on MSNBC right after the ruling and said, and I'm quoting him, "I don't care how you look at it today, it's a big win for me and a big loss for this president." That's why he was screaming to the top of his lungs at this press conference. He knows he lost in a big way today. And then Boyd got personal. And this is the part that should hit everyone. He said he's sitting right there with an $80,000 seed and fertilizer bill he can't pay. $80,000. This is a working farmer who can't afford to plant his crops because of these tariffs. He said he barely made his fall payments. He said he scrambled just to get in. And then he said something that should alarm every farmer in America. He said that just this week, not last month, not last year, this week, 2 different banks told him that as long as the tariffs were in place, they would not extend him credit. Banks are refusing to lend to farmers because of Trump's trade policies. Think about what that means. You are a farmer and you need money to buy seeds. The bank says no because the president's tariffs made your business too risky. You can't plant, you can't grow, you can't earn, and you go bankrupt. This is actually so sad. And that is what's been happening all across the country. Now, the Supreme Court has said it was illegal the entire time. Every farm that went bankrupt, every export deal that was lost, every family that lost their land, it was all based on tariffs that the highest court in the land just said were unconstitutional. Now, let me talk about Trump's reaction, because it tells you everything about where his head is at. Instead of accepting the ruling, instead of acknowledging that maybe these tariffs were hurting people, instead of reaching out to the farmers who are drowning, he lashed out. He called the Supreme Court justices lapdogs, he called them fools, and he called them rhinos. These are the people he appointed. These are the justices he bragged about putting on the bench. He stood at the rallies for years saying, I gave you 3 Supreme Court justices, blah, and now those same justices rule against him, and suddenly they're fools and lapdogs. That is not the response of a president, and that is the response of who someone thought he was above the law and just found out he was not. And Boyd called that out too. He said, what the president said to the Supreme Court today was deplorable. He called them lapdogs and fools and rhinos. How does he think the other world leaders are looking at this decision and rating him today? It shows his lack of leadership skills. And here's the other thing Trump did that's borderline illegal. He stood in the White House today and the People's House and told Americans to vote Republican. Boyd pointed out that this is potentially a violation of the Hatch Act, which prohibits using the White House as a campaign platform. The guy just got slapped down by the Supreme Court, and his first instinct is to campaign from the Oval Office. Now let's talk about what this ruling actually means going forward, because this isn't just a symbolic win, this is real. First, the tariffs are struck down. That means 25% tariff on Canadian goods. The punitive tariffs on China, all the emergency powers Trump used to impose them, gone. The court said he doesn't have the authority to do it this way. Second, this opens the door for farmers to demand compensation. Boyd said it perfectly. He said Congress needs to pass an act to redistribute farmers' losses. The soybean market alone lost $54 billion. Trump offered $12 billion in aid. That covers less than a quarter of the damage. And now that the court has ruled the tariffs were illegal, farmers have an even stronger case to say, you owe us. Third, and this is the one that matters for the midterms, this ruling destroys Trump's economic argument. His entire pitch was tariffs make America stronger. The Supreme Court just said no, they're illegal. His own farmers are going bankrupt. Brazil stole the soybean market permanently, and now he can't even pretend the tariffs were a legitimate policy. And Boyd had a message for Trump's base that I think it's worth repeating. He said, for many of the white farmers that voted for him 3 times, you need to think about what you're doing and the position of America's farmers and make sure that you vote the right way in the midterm elections. That is a farmer, not a politician, not a pundit, a farmer, telling other farmers that it's time to change their vote, and he's not saying it from some TV studio in New York. He's saying it while he's staring at an $80,000 bill that he can't pay because of the policies of the president they voted for. And also John Boyd said, I don't care how you look at it, he lost today, he lost in a big way. And for the first time in this presidency, the system worked. The court said no. The farmers are speaking up and midterms are coming. And if you found the video informative, make sure subscribe to my channel, and I'd appreciate if you like and comment down below what you think about all of it. Thank you.